Hi, you're watching Dog Ear Musings, and I'm Monica's Hands. Today we're going to be talking about the book Apples Never Fall. This book sucked. The only thing that I really liked from it was the mention of apple crumble. So to sweeten the deal, I'm going to be eating between the lines and cooking up a recipe from this book. They talk incessantly about this apple crumble. Apples Never Fall is a domestic thriller that follows the Delaney family, a family of star tennis players. The kids' trust of their father is challenged when their mother goes missing, and their dad becomes the main suspect of the murder. Is all lost in love? Haha, get it? It's a tennis pun, and love is a match. I don't know. So why did this book fall flat for me? Because in general, I really do love Liane Moriarty. I have at least one of her books, and I've loved watching her shows. Kind of to summarize, there's a weird ending, which tries very hard to wrap up situations in a way that are way too neat. This book moves way too slow, and there is no payoff. Ultimately, though, I was pulled out of enjoying the book mostly because of the depiction of Savannah. Savannah is this mysterious woman who stirs up trouble for the Delaney family when she randomly shows up at their house. However, we find out that her randomly showing up isn't actually random at all when she begins to slowly torture this family using mind tricks. Savannah is ultimately used as a sounding board for a myriad of things, for mental health, trauma, eating disorders. Savannah represents it all. Moriarty gives a weak premise for Savannah's drive. Instead of getting a full character, we get someone who is pigeonholed into a crazy woman who ultimately falls into a trope, which has historically been called the hysterical woman. So this book had me analyzing thrillers and kind of thinking about where this trope stemmed from and why we are drawn into thinking about thrillers and analyzing books this way. So this book made me curious about the context of mental health, not necessarily in opposition to it being involved in a thriller, but more to learn about the intrigue. So, what is hysteria? Well, a lot of people are going to tell me, and I do know, that hysteria is a term that originates in kind of sexist, ableist origins, diagnosing medical conditions and mental health conditions to the existence of having a uterus. Hysteria was then used as a term to kind of attribute women and their mental health as things that were linked to the fact that people have uteruses. Early attributes to this word are kind of connected to the Salem witch trials.
I'm gonna leave the skin on.
And in modern day, we can see
This is improper cutting technique, so don't cut like me if you're a little kid.
this trope of the hysterical woman being connected to domestic noir. Movies, TV shows, music, where Taylor Swift kind of jokes about being a mad woman. These are often written for and about women and talking about feelings and who and
Several apples later.
why we're allowed to feel them. This term is also fueled by the intrigue of true crime. We like to watch these shows or listen to these podcasts to kind of learn more about trust and kind of lack of trust. So these books, when done poorly, can rely on stereotypes about mental health and addiction, and especially when we think about intersectionality, it kind of leaves one thinking again about who is allowed to feel certain things and in what context. Certain people are allowed to feel angry and certain people are not. I needed more of Savannah's story, more nuance. In trying to create intrigue, Moriarty lost this character's humanity. So if you're asking me how I like them apples, I did not. But this crumble was pretty good.